Okay, so it's early. It's only 4:30, but this morning I woke up myself, so that's what makes a difference. If I just wake up, then I'm fine. If I keep getting woke up, it just makes me feel so out of it. So I don't feel tired or anything, but um, I still feel weird. I just feel weird. Like everything just feels disjointed. It is like I don't know. I mean, everybody who's going through it, you probably are going to just perceive it in different ways. Because I hear people explain stuff a lot of times, and I'll think, oh, this is how they perceive what's happening. But then, see, we assume by how their explanation, well, that must be what's happening to me. But that's their perception of what's going on. And so it's kind of, it's more vague. It is it's just like a vague overall kind of thing of this letting, to me it feels like just letting go of what I believed was real. But when you do, it has to do with you too. Like when you realize everything is not real, when you're going around and the world is looking like a picture, and it changes. So somebody had sent me something yesterday and said, I don't know if they're trying to be rude or whatever, said to look up derealization or something. And so I looked it up, but it's of course a diagnostic thing of, what they would do if I went in and told them, then they would say, oh, you've got a disorder. You're serious. We need to put you on serious medication. I was like, people don't do that. Don't go to them and tell them what's going on. They will tell you you're crazy. You got to trust yourself. Oh my God, it's already starting. Hold on. It's not already starting. This is the third time out, so. But it's gonna already starting through my recording. So she's gonna be going immediately as soon as I start. Sometimes she'll just look up and she'll just see what I'm doing and just go to sleep. Like, fuck it. I know she's gonna just sit there and talk. And but then other times, but it was all night still going out. Yesterday when we were walking, I did see she does have diarrhea. So she is going diarrhea, like a whole bunch of little diarrheas, And so I'm sure her stomach's really upset. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but my one daughter in Spokane last week, right before all the fires started, she was, because it was Friday, I think, and she messaged me Thursday night, and she said something about, well, I haven't talked to you, but I'll call you tomorrow because I'm staying home because Diego's sick. And I was like, well, what's wrong with him? And she's like, he's got diarrhea. He just keeps having diarrhea. Now the other dogs have it too. So all the dogs got diarrhea. And I was like, well, it's environmental, for sure. And then, whatever, a couple days later, there we go with the fires. And so whatever they're spraying, see, it's environmental, what's making us sick. So what they're spraying to try and destroy us is also making us sick. And what was that? I had like a couple more things coming in at the same time. Like the, oh yeah, it was stuff with the, oh my gosh, more and more just keeps coming out. Like I said, the more people that wake up, the more research that is done, the more fascinating information you find out. It's like, so lasers don't like blue. They just skip blue. There's all sorts of, like, you can look up what people are doing with this testing and stuff, putting all these different colors, but lasers just skip blue. Just can't seem to manage blue. And so, and there's all sorts of footage. People on the beaches and stuff seeing the weapon come. There's footage, aerial footage now that you can see. You can follow the tracks of the burn. There is mortician, he works at the crematory, and he said, in order to cremate, you have to have at least 3,000 degrees. A wildfire is 1,200 to 1,500. Then the windshields are gone. That takes 2,800 or something degrees to melt windshields. All the windshields are gone. Nobody's doors are open. And so it was like a quick, just like, that's why I said it's like to the people, to the souls. It wasn't like how we think how terrorizing it was. It was a lot briefer. It was like a start running, like you see something, you start running, and then it's just like poof, you know. So I mean, to us, we've got to go through the trauma, but in the soul world, if you find peace in that, then it's just like a poof, and they're out of that. So they didn't sit there and besides, even it was so fast. They just like poofed them up, like. And there's such a difference too, of course. The footage of Trump in Maui, I started crying when I watched it because I know how much he means to so many people. He's like this grandfather figure to people. Like, people get all like mad, like, how do they like him? But it's like he has, for some people, they're just triggered. They don't see this part of him. But for some people, it's like this very paternal, loving figure. He's giant, for one thing. The guy's huge. And so he's like that big Papa Bear, and he's very calm and reassuring, and I think he exudes love. I don't care what all these other people say about him, and they all keep trying to say, well, these different things. Well, he did this. Well, he's part of that. Well, all that stuff. I'm feeling pretty. Nothing changes how I feel about it. He's the catalyst. He's the psyop. He's the one to get you to find outrage in your heart about the things going on, even though it's going to be redirected to another individual. But anyways, I think he has a significant part to play. And like I said, that guy's got fucking, to take the abuse he takes. But when he was there, and the footage of him just going around, he's so kind, handing out stuff with people, but hugging people, just talking to him, like really caring. People are hugging him and want to talk to him. It's like, no matter these people who want to hate him, if you cannot understand how much love that is going between him and other people, like, you're missing out. Like, this guy is bringing in light. He's bringing in love. And when you start seeing it, it warms your heart. It melts your heart. It's beautiful, especially when you see someone who is so attacked, so publicly attacked and shamed, and they still continue to spread love. And they take his words. They've taken his words and twisted them all along. So, and then you see old Joe, which I was thinking Joe looks awfully tall today out there walking. I'm really curious to see. Somebody looked up on the IMDb, and they said it's gone now, but it had popped up. A certain actor's name in the part he played was the inauguration of 2023 or 2021. So he was in the inauguration of Joe. So they put it in his IMDb because he's playing a part. So all these people playing parts. But anyways, I was like, man, Joe looks tall standing there. And Jill, they're all actors. They're all, these aren't the real people. The real people were too bad. And besides, the real people wouldn't go out and say what they were told to say to make themselves look stupid. They're going to keep covering their own ass. Joe just sticks his fucking thumbs, his feet, everything in his mouth. He just goes around looking like a doofus. And it was yesterday they did and then they get a tragedy and they look for any excuse to talk to him. What do you think, President? And this one yesterday, he's just sitting there and he's just like, well, yeah, like that. Yeah. Well, it's kind of, what I mean when I say, like, it's like, what I'm saying. It's like he couldn't fucking get a word out. And then it was so awkward for the woman who's interviewing him. She just like, okay, yeah. Well, it's like, oh my God, this stuff is shit. So fucking absurd. But these people who are, who are on script, they're going to be put into positions to look like fools because, they all have to look the fool that they are. They've been playing the fool. You think you can get away with playing in the dark, but you can't. The light will always come in. There's a season. There's a season for each thing. So hold on, let me get this last drink. Hold on. Okay, so Joe is there, just saying stupid stuff, talking about, what he lost in a fire before. And Trump talked to one person. This is one motherfucking person. Lost 10 family members. These motherfucking people in the news keep trying to say, 113. Oh, 113. What's the odds then? What's the odds? 113 people dying. 10 of those people are your people. There's so many more people. I mean, what? Because they just fucking lasered them out? We're just pretending like they didn't exist? This is such a fucking bold attack. It's so disgusting. And then the blue. And I don't know if this is fake. Like, there's so many things where you can see them and it's like, fuck, is this fake? Like, because I'll tell you more about that strike. There's more coming out about that too. Boy, you just can't. You got so many people out there researching. It's a beautiful thing. And all I gotta do is just go in and just watch all these different people's videos and see what information they're digging up, and then just spread it along. Just keep passing it along. Just, spread it out, and everybody just keep realizing, it's opening our minds more and more and understanding, like, you gotta protect yourself in this fucking place. And so this article was all the actors who were painting their houses blue. And this one was Oprah's. And then it was showing these other ones. I think it was like Kid Rock, probably Obama. Who knows? What all? There's more with Kid Rock too. But so this painting the house is blue because the lasers won't do the blue. And it's so funny too, because all this footage, I'll sit there and see this footage of, like, as I saw the laser thing yesterday. I mean, you can see. You can totally see. Like, it's like weld marks going down the road. And then they shift over here. It's like total weld marks. It's like, fuck. If you understand how the, like welding, even how it works, you're shooting that thing. But it looks like the same thing. Like they've just gone up and welded. So they've got this laser. And they're just shooting up the motherfucking road. Torching people. But see, the thing is that the people who are always killing us, they know that we don't really die. They just tell us so that we can be terrorized and we can be controlled. And it's just crazy how so many people believe it. Like, fucking, I bet you, 75% of the people, I think, probably believe that you die. They fear death. They're scared of what's to come. And so, but when I was seeing that, so yesterday when I was out walking, and I seen her diarrhea, and the sky looks weird, we've been having all this smoke, and then I just see these certain places all around that just look like they've been shot with something. Like a tree can look totally fine, and then it's just got this burn spot. A burn spot that like that, where you can see it go up through the grass and then go up. Like there was one, I was standing outside and she was going potty. And so I was just standing there looking at the, across the street where I said those people have that like fence line, those tall fence line trees. And two of them, just two, all totally dead. And then, so where that one goes, like if you shot a laser, that would go straight up, go right to my garden, and right where it would hit was brown. Nothing else, just right there. And see, and I watch that stuff. I look at that stuff. No matter if other people think, well, that's crazy. That doesn't mean anything. What are you looking at? Every little thing. You're so crazy. Okay. Come on, stall, please. I know she's bored fuckless, even though we go for a walk all the time. But she just wants to go out and walk. And she wants to go out and she wants to just go out and just snoop around. She wants to go up, just sniff stuff, go in people's yards, sniff around, see what's going on in everybody's yard. I mean, just like normal stuff. But she wants to do that so bad. I just need her a bigger place. This is more open, where she has more to do. She's bored to death. And she wants me to go take her out and walk all the time. But, so when I'm noticing these burn patterns in the thing, it's like, that is not natural. That is set up. I just saw footage of a guy, and it looked like the fucking bayou. It looked like he was on a goddamn airboat. And he has a torch out there torching. Like, are you trying to start a fire there? Is this like a burn that they do on purpose? Like, I don't fucking know. There's so much weird shit, man. And they just, we're constantly under attack. It's crazy. And so this strike thing. So, I just kept seeing through it as like, this is strange. For one thing, if you're really trying to do something to really hit them where it hurts, why are you just so publicly doing? I mean, you act like they don't know what? I mean, that is like a big thing, that they are watching us all the time. They're always listening to us. And then the people are like, we're going to make this big plan right here on social media, and we're going to do it. And so I was like, okay, this is just strange. And then, plus, why do you think a day off work is going to make a fuck all difference to them? Like, they fucking made us stay home for a goddamn year. And they got richer. Like, they don't give a fuck about that. Stay off work for the day. Oh, okay. Well, we showed them. And then more stuff, because I was like, a strike as you stay off until you get what you want. And so I was like, it makes no sense. Why are you calling it a strike? And so apparently, because there's so many people talking about the strike, and but more people are leaning like me, like, think it through. We got to go bigger. You guys got to do more. And so this guy, he was feeling the same way. Like, what are they talking about, a strike? And there was one woman, and she was doing the same thing. Like, what are you talking about, a strike? And she said, these are the things that are a strike. You have to do these things for it to be a strike. And who's doing these? Who's negotiating? Where's our rule? What are we coming with? What is it we want? And so then this morning, I saw a guy who did the research into who is running it, who is running it, what is their goal, what is it that they are doing, where did this originate? And so I found a website, and when you switch the website, it suddenly goes in Spanish, and then in the website, he's reading the different things, which one of the things is that they want to stand up for gender, something about gender. I was like, okay, what the fuck is this strike about? Like, this is bizarre. It's not about freedom at all. And they do have negotiators, but negotiators, they're not telling people. They've got their things they're negotiating. Who are you negotiating with? Every BlackRock, every corporate, like, who's at the table? Every corporate, every business, like, everybody. And so anyways, he was looking up further. He was looking up, I don't know, some of the words that were used or something. And so one of the things when you look it up is exactly what I had been saying about the LGBTQ thing that they did. And so he said that the government, and they were doing this all the way back, this group of people, this government protection group, that they were even attacking, the Black Panthers, Martin Luther King, the women's movement. They've been doing this stuff the whole time. And there's some sort of a PSYOP organization. So they set it up so it looks like that they're there for us, like they're all this stuff is for us. And so we, jump on. But it's really to run it into the ground. So it's to do the exact opposite, of course. And so, and then the guy went and looked at some of the people who were on the list of being the ones running it, who were ahead of it. It's crazy. Most of them, even in their handle name, you know, it was like Trans Joe, Trans Officer, Trans Champion. I was like, okay, like this is some psyop bullshit. So, and it could be to just get more people to lose their jobs, and for us to just walk into this close down, for us to initiate this close down. And then, you know, the chaos comes back on us when nobody goes to work. You can't go and, you know, like imagine a day in your town if nobody went to work, because this is coming. This is coming. And nobody go to work. Like, who's going to take care of the patients at the hospital? I mean, that one nurse, she needs compensation. You know, she's a poor person. She's got to take care of sick people, but she does need compensation. So I don't know what's going to happen with all those sick people in hospital beds when nobody's getting paid to go and see them. When the dollar is not a valid source of payment anymore. And all of the different positions, like who's going to come pick up the trash? Who's going to run the drive-through window? Who's going to run the cash register at the grocery store? I mean, nobody's going to go to work just because they got nothing to do. They're just going to get up in the morning. Well, I think I'm just going to go to work, keep this world running. Even if I don't get anything for it, I'm going. Really, does that sound like the kind of society we've got built up? I don't think so. I think when people find out there's not going to be a check deposited in their account, they're going to be like, fuck it. I don't give a fuck. They're not going to give a fuck if people are in the hospital dying. It's strange. I would think, you know, you would probably have some concerned people. Like, you could have some nurses or something. I don't, you know, there's going to be so much chaos. I don't even know how some of this stuff is going to. I would think there would be some concerned citizens maybe who would go to a hospital and try and see what they could do to help people. Like, I don't know. This is going to be so much about people stepping in and people really having to see who they are. You know, this compensation, what you need, and it's all fake. So, you know, and it's got to be so close, but it is annoying as fuck. Because I just saw this thing, and they were talking about the BRICS nations are having this big meeting, and so they're expecting we are going to be a part of the BRICS nation by 2050. So by 2050, then we're going to go on the gold standard. Like, we're going to just sit here and no. I think the news or whoever's trying to put out that data, I think that is like just, who knows in which direction. They could be trying, whatever it is, it's just to cause chaos, because to those of us who know, it's going to make us frustrated. And then still the people who fear, they're going to still be like, oh my God, 2050, that's not very long. What are we going to do? How are we going to live? What are we going to do? How are we going to even make it? They never stop and think of like how to start making it. They keep on just like, well, let's see what they give us, and then we'll just put it together and we'll do it. It's like, you got to start doing shit for yourselves. You got to start figuring out what it is you need in this world. This is an independent thing. Like, somebody put up a thing, should the cops that wouldn't let the people out because they wouldn't let them out. They wouldn't let them out. They wouldn't let people in. One woman broke through and went running in to try and save her adopted child. 5 minutes in to the thing. And it got in to her house, and he was dead on the 15 years old. It was his birthday. 15 years old, laying there dead with his dog in the bed. Like, he was just like, come here, boy. Maybe they were just laying there, you know, looking on his phone or something, and it just went poof. But anyways, he was already gone. And, she's devastated, but the cops weren't letting people go in and wouldn't let people go out. Like the people who were trying to escape, they wouldn't let them go. So people are like, well, should they be charged? Hell yeah, they should. This is individual accountability. This is people having to learn that what their decisions, they're held accountable. Someone can order you, but you make the choice to follow orders, to be able to use your eyes and ears and your senses to see what needs to be done. That you're going to follow orders. So, yeah, to me, it should be, well, it should be, I think it's going to be the death penalty. I think we're going to see a lot of death penalty shit. And there's going to be a lot, like I said, there's going to be a lot of regular people who are going to be going down for things. And it's going to, I think, be really shocking to people and their families and stuff. Like people, I think, that are married to cops and stuff don't realize how much of their job is do what you're told. You follow orders. And they're not ordering people to do things that are morally right. This is it may have worked in the dark, but it's not going to work in the light. And so there's going to be people who go down for following orders. Now, I think a lot of people, there's going to be some hospital administrators, they're going to go down for following orders because of all of that shit that they put out. The protocols. The protocols were, yeah, but the people who followed them, because there's a whole thing about doctor licenses and stuff, whole thing about nursing licenses and stuff. It comes back on us. Like if we go to work and a doctor gives you an order and says he wants you to go give, I had a nurse get so mad about this to me one day. And I didn't think he was overdoing the patient, but it was in the ER. And that ER, the head nurse lady in the ER, she was very competitive. Like she did not like me at all. And so the doctor had ordered, this girl had come in and she was having appendicitis or something. And he had said to give her 10 milligrams of morphine. And I don't remember how slow I gave it to her or whatever, but 10 milligrams of morphine is like 1 milligram of Dilaudid is what they're always like. It's like an equal thing. So you can go give them a milligram of Dilaudid, but she was telling me 10 milligrams of morphine was too much. She was just having a fucking fit. And so, but the thing is, like if you go, like if the doctor told me, go in and give 50 milligrams of morphine to this patient, and I went in and did it, and I knew it was what is that? The word. Oh man, I can see it kind of. Well, a dose that would kill somebody. I can't see the word clear enough, but the dose that would kill somebody. If you give it, then it comes back on your license. So I'm supposed to be overseeing a doctor. So anything the doctor does, I'm supposed to go in. And this was even, in medical aid, the place that just burned down, when I was doing traveling nurse. And that hospital, oh my God. I went to that one a few times, a lot of times. But that was that one where I had that patient. She supposedly had pneumonia. They gave her to a traveling nurse. She was supposed to be in ICU. They had her on the floor. She ended up dying. But what came out was she was like on 3 different blood thinners. She bled to death. And I had told them that morning, I said, I told the nurse coming on, see, they wouldn't listen to me because I was a traveling nurse. They tried to scapegoat me, but the place I worked for jumped in and took care of it and got me out of the whole legal thing, because it turned into a big lawsuit. And because this woman went in for fucking pneumonia and died in a couple days. And so when I had her in the morning and I had said, the things that were going on. I said, she needs some, a CT scan or something. I got to see what's going on in there. She's got something going on. And nobody did it. Nobody did it. They said that they went and did an x-ray. So they tried to cheap it up and do an x-ray, and they didn't see anything. Well, if they would have done a CT scan, they would have seen her whole abdominal cavity was full of blood. But they didn't do it. And then, so she died. And she went unconscious that afternoon, never regained consciousness. And when I got back to work, she died on my shift. And she was bleeding everywhere. Just blood just coming out. They're still not moving her to ICU. Just putting blood. Oh, it was the most mental thing. And then plus the doctor who had her on all of these different blood thinners. But anyways, so a nurse can be held accountable for a doctor's mistakes. So all of this shit, all these little licensing things that they always have us under licenses for this, licenses under that, so they can set rules on us. So all these administrators that were putting out these protocols, and then the people who followed them, because I saw back in 2020, I saw so many footage of different nurses, crying. Because they knew that the protocol was not the right thing. You can't do this. It's killing people. And they were. And the nurses getting so upset and saying stuff and saying, I keep telling people. And so many people's attitude was like, oh, well, who cares? Well, they're going to die anyways. Oh, well, we're so blasé. Don't give a fuck. These are the people you trust with your health. It just blows my mind because I've worked there. It's like fucking trusting Walmart employees to get you proper food. Like, there's a crazy thing now. Like, if you go and buy Walmart food, you need to stop. Everybody who goes to fucking Walmart, I wish I could get my kids to listen. It's really funny, too. Is because a long time, that last husband of mine, he really liked Walmart. He always wanted to go there. And I swear to God, my kids made fun of me because we would go in there. And he always wanted to go there and buy stuff. He wanted to buy everything from Walmart. Man, he loved that fucking store. And I don't even think I even had been to Walmart before. Like, I probably had been in, but I was just... But anyways, with him, I went a lot of times. And, but now, it's like every fucking buddy goes to goddamn Walmart. And Great Values, just start looking at your ingredients. They're adding some weird ass shit in it. Like tilapia into like your cocoa mix, anchovies, in all sorts of weird fish. I was like, well, fuck. Somebody who's got a fish allergy and go get your Walmart food, fuck, probably going into anaphylactic shock. Like, it's very strange. This one lady was pulling all of her food out of the cabinet and showing the ingredients. And she's like, what in the fuck? Because once one person shows it, then all these different people start going and looking. So that's what I'm saying. When you hear one weird thing, then because I heard this about the Walmart food weeks ago, maybe even a month or so ago, where people were saying about the spices, all sorts of stuff. It just keeps going. No, I was hearing about the Walmart chips like fucking months ago. Yeah, people were already talking about the Walmart chips. But anyways, you just keep setting that stuff aside. Just keep it in the back of your mind. And you'll see more and more will just formulate out of it. And so, yeah, the Walmart food is corporate food that is there to poison you. Is there to make you sick. And don't forget, it's there. They know what areas are going to be hit. They know what to put in your food. They know who to fill with fucking what. So, man, this stuff is so shady. It's so conniving. These people are fucking masters at game playing. And that's another thing, too. If you want to be on their level, you got to be shady as fuck. You can just be out there on social media and, putting together this big strike. Like, that, to me, is so obvious of a psyop. And so many people jump on and then they think they're making big moves. You're not making big moves. You're not fucking making big moves. You're taking a goddamn holiday. Like, you're going to have your ass right back there at work. You're not ready to just stop. A strike is, you don't just go one day and then go back the next day. It's like, I don't get, do people not get what a strike is? It's like, you're going September 1st, you would not go to work again. Not again. You're done working until they meet your demands. And the persons that are trying to get these demands with who knows what officials, like, who fucking knows? Like, this is so strange. It's so obvious that it's a psyop. And it has to do with gender. Like, they're going to fight for liberal shit, to me, you know. So everybody has to open the doors to trans people or something. Who knows? It's just more of the bullshit. It's probably what they're trying to just push more of those rights or something, just to keep taking away our human rights. They act like that they're giving rights, but they're giving you rights that they have no right to be fucking doing. It's not their goddamn business. The government is overstepping, and people just keep on opening the door. Like, it's okay. No, close the motherfucking door. If somebody comes to your door that you don't like, do you just, oh, well, what would you like? What could I give you? You know, you want to come in and see if there's anything? Or you just close the door. But people just keep on, they don't want the government, but they just keep opening the door. It's like, well, the whole thing with the voting, the whole thing with, well, like, we got to ask the government if that's okay. Why? Why? Because these men put themselves in a place of power. They got money. They started telling us, and it's so shady and corrupt how they've done it. Like, I'm telling you, if you don't understand how gangsters infiltrate into government and it becomes one big mashup, go watch Deuce. I think that they show pretty well the introduction of the mafia into the police, the government, the mayor, all of it in New York. So it's all a fucking corrupt institution. The bad guys are running the world. The bad guys got themselves in power. The bad guys have used bad means to get themselves in power, but they still have power. And these freaking rich people are, that's all they want. You know, they will use whatever means. Like, it's not the rich people that are going to go out and break your legs. They're going to be the ones ordering it. So they want these criminals out there. That's what they want. These criminals that just go up, you know, massacre a mom of 5 just because she's outside. That's what, you know, 11-year-old girl. There's going to be so many, just one bad story after another, man. And those are the instigators. Those are their criminals. Those are the people that they realize they did it. That's what they've always done. You know, there's so much more now of people putting it together about, yeah, they didn't bring black people over on ships. They came and fucking killed them and stole their land. This is their fucking land. That made me cry. These people are so evil. They just take and take and take. And then just beat people down and beat people down. Take someone's land and then stick them in a ghetto and tell them that they can't have anything. You know, in the way that these whole aristocrats, you know. Like, I was watching Rebecca yesterday. And some of the times, like, when you're watching old movies, just you hear all the people talk, the general conversations that were acceptable. And it was so against other people. Well, we're civilized. You know, it's the same thing when I was talking about with these aristocrats that are just so, no, and manners. And, you know, what would others think? Oh, what would they say? Who gives a fuck? Like, this is our poll. You think about in your human character, your pole is, mine is tribes, and the other one is these aristocrat, mindless, uh, I don't know, creepo people. They're just so, ugh, so mindless. I was just like, fuck, are these the lab-made people? They're so fucking mindless and controlled, and they value weird shit. It looks so strange. Like, fuck. He could sit there and watch a whole tribe go and, you know, do a ceremony, and they would see it as just barbaric and not even feel it. Not feel what it's about. They're just cut off. It's weird. But they're just like, I don't know, this hoity-toity, up their own ass kind of people. Like, it's shown all the time in all these different kind of things. The Titanic, I thought that they show that so good, of how they're all just sitting there up their own ass and, you know, wiping with a napkin. And then the people who are having fun, I'm going, fuck, they're out there having fun, dancing, singing. Who cares if you have fucking sauce on your face? Like, it's like getting us to be concerned about things that don't matter, you know, to worry. But when they make things to be so hard to reach, then it makes it for us to seem like we're not good enough. We can't get there. And that's why there's such a huge draw for people like, you know, well, I want to be famous. It's like they want everybody to tell them they're okay, you know. They just want to know that they're okay. And they need, you know, confirmation. And because it's bizarre. I mean, you got people who want to be famous and they've got nothing to be famous for. Like, what is it you're bringing to the table? What are you doing that is going to be elevating you? Just doing weird videos, you know, like, what in the world is that doing? You know, there's weird fucking videos that people do, and they think that they're going to get, you know, famous. But it's like, what? How many intelligent people are going to sit there and elevate you over, you know, you smashing an egg on your kid's head and thinking it's so funny? I'm glad there's other people now who are being disgusted by that. It's so disgusting. I can't believe there's literally that many parents who would watch somebody do that to their kid and think, that's funny, I'm going to do that too. And then I'm going to videotape it. That's the two poles, you know. Which pole are you on? This pole of, like, immaturity for sure. But insecurity for sure. But it is just this, it's so shallow and pointless. And it's so demeaning to your child. Like, when did it stop being that we wanted to build our kids up? To build them up, to feel good about themselves, to go out into society and make a mark, to create a legacy. You're attached to the legacy. You're their mom. Like, when did that stop? When did it stop where moms were like, oh, I want my son to be the president. Oh, I want my son to be an NBA star. I want, you know. Like, what happened? I just started thinking it's funny to beat your kid down and get a laugh. Like, everybody went into, oh, yeah, that show they created. I couldn't even stand that show, but so many people love that show. What was that fucking show? It was, everybody would send in videos. This is when people had video cameras. And everybody would send in these stupid videos that they would make at home. And it would always be people getting hurt or crazy things happening. And then there was even a whole voting thing on this show. And there would be winners, and then they would compete with the other winners. Like, this was like a whole thing. I can't remember what that show was called, though. But I couldn't stand it. I can't stand to watch people get hurt. I feel it in my own body. I've always have, ever since I was little. In a movie, if I'm watching it and somebody gets hurt, my whole entire body. I feel it. And so, yeah, I can't watch shows like that. That is like, oh, man, I don't know how people watch this shit. It's like, fuck, my whole body hurts. And so, but it is like it set a tone. And so people want to make these stupid fucking videos. Like, there's so many people who set up videos to make stupid, outrageous things, like with Karen, like have somebody come out and act like a Karen, and then they'll pretend like they're in this big thing to make this totally outrageous thing. And all you're doing is creating more division. You're making people more on guard with each other. Like, people have got to get more to the wanting to understand somebody else's story. That's why I think that whole thing with Anthony Oliver, the musician guy, it's a mountain man. Probably, if you were standing next to him in the store, a lot of people in a business suit or whatever, I don't know, this little mountain person, just a person who doesn't have much money, probably doesn't have a nice house, probably not a very fancy guy, so he's disregarded. And then comes out with this emotional song, and so many people bond to it, but it shows a deeper side or something. But that's what I was saying. I think that there's going to be a lot of people who are very disregarded. They're going to be elevated, because this is changing our view of things. Like, think about what's happening on the planet. We're changing our perspective. We're increasing our view. We're looking bigger. We're getting out of judgment. So it's kind of like when, Jesus would talk to the beggars and thieves and stuff like that. Like, give these people value. So it's kind of like the universe is doing that now. It is showing you people that you had no value for, and how valuable they really are. So to get us to really start seeing, like, doesn't matter if somebody doesn't have a big house. Doesn't matter if somebody doesn't have a lot. It doesn't change the value of who they are. We've got to get out of our head. Like, it's been so easy to me, but there really seems to be people that think, like, if you have money and looks, that makes you a good person. It's like, no. Mostly, when somebody has money and looks, they turn into a really rotten person. It's a challenge to become a good person when you've got a lot of money and a lot of good looks, because of how others treat you. Just like that, they automatically assume you're a good person. You're the person they want to be around. You look good, so you must be good. It's like, no, that's a very shallow, superficial way of looking at things. And that's why it's just like bizarro world, where these people who just see somebody, well, they look good. Oh, looks like somebody I want in my bed. So then it must be my true love. It's like, there's got to be a deeper connection. Like, to me, like what, my guides have showed me, that when I started putting myself out here, like, I was very like, fuck, this is like risky. Like, man. And I didn't have any support. I didn't have any saying, yeah, do it. Yeah, good idea. No. I just felt I was so compelled. But I'm having arguments and stuff in my head. And, and they don't give a fuck if you're insecure. They're like, well, this is going to help. So really, like, when you go to my first videos and stuff, I feel like I feel like the first year I was so insecure. I don't know though now when I look back, but I definitely feel like I've gotten more comfortable over that time. But when I very first started, I felt very insecure. I thought, oh my God, this person, because I know who my person is. Like, they showed me. I know who it is. Like, that's why, it doesn't matter how many people come and want to talk to me or ask me out or have me meet them or go to where, I get invitations. But I know who my person is. So I can't, I already know, like, my heart, it's like my heart belongs to another. And so, but when I started this, I was like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm an idiot. This is so, they're gonna think I'm so weird. And so then my guides were bringing me very different information than that. And then they started bringing me more and more. Like I'm telling you, they will push you to do certain things and not give you all the information. Because there's something inside of us that has to click. It's us. Like they're helping us click into place. So, but there'll be points when they will push you where you'll feel like, oh my God. But you got to listen to them. Keep listening to them. Don't listen to the voices in your head of your insecurities and stuff like that. But like, what they've shown me is that they would find me because I'm out there. I've put myself out there. I'm not on a dating website looking for them. I'm just putting myself out there and trusting the universe to do their work. And they've showed me that, well, that's going to work. You'll see. And, but they also told me that this gives this person this opportunity to get to know me because I am putting myself out there. I am talking and stuff. So that's why I said, like, if you were really wanting to find your person or something, you guys have to start doing stuff that you love. Start doing stuff you love to do. And keep working on getting yourself in a higher vibration, not being triggered by things or people, working on your insecurities, all those things. And as you're working on that, your vibration is changing. You start it's like a magnet starts pulling in things or people that are good for you. Because before, when you're low vibration, you're pulling in people to teach you lessons, to get you to try and understand that you have value, because it triggers your inside when somebody doesn't value you. But a lot of people's reaction is victim. You don't want to be victim. You want to take notice. Oh, okay, I don't appreciate how this person treats me, so let's dive into that. So, they do this or say that or however, and that doesn't align with how I feel, what I want. And also, when you are putting your boundaries out there, don't just automatically assume that people are going to jump on board. You can put your boundaries. You're going to get kickback, feedback. You're going to get like a back. What is that? Like a back, not a back splash, a back wave. It's like an energetic kind of wave of energy that will come back. It is kind of like to push you, like, to get stronger, to lock in. So when you get that pushback, but don't lock into anger. This is your other challenge through setting your boundaries, is to always do things before you get angry. Don't wait until you get mad. Don't wait until you're pushed and you've already got that emotional stimulation. You want to start catching it ahead of time. Start setting the table before the meal. Like, don't let yourself be pushed into anger by somebody who keeps pushing on you. Stand up for yourself. Say, hey, I heard you. You've said it enough times. We don't need to hear it anymore. You're hurting my feelings and I don't appreciate it. And if you continue, I will leave. I'm not going to sit here and be abused like this. And that's it. And they laugh at you. They say it again. Oh, look at somebody's trying to be tough here. Say, okay, it was nice seeing everybody. Next time I'll see you guys. Hopefully it'll be under better circumstances when people can control themselves a little better. So I will talk to everybody later and leave. Don't expect that they have to. Don't expect other people to get involved. Really set a stiff boundary where everybody sees it. Because not only is that going to empower other people, because bet your ass this person is pushing everybody. They're not just pushing you. They push other people too. They're just somebody who uses their energy to, when something feels uncomfortable, they just release it out. It's like they're just a little machine gun, just, releasing these energetic bullets on people so that they can release it from themselves, their tension, their anger, their whatever. They've got no control of themselves. And so when you take a stand, when you take a firm stand on how someone's treating you and you stand up for yourself and are willing to walk away, then, and that's what everybody's got to do about this whole system. You got to be willing to walk away. You got to be willing to lose everything. And so then everybody who witnesses it, like if you're at a birthday party and old Uncle Joe just never stops, and he's always got to harass everybody, and he's always got to sit right up there by the cake and the cookies. So any of the women who come up there, he's always, oh, really, you need that one? Getting a little thick in there, aren't you? You know, one of those guys. And so when you stand up to them, that empowers all those other people. They see what you do, and that has planted a big seed that they all needed. And so that is how your healing is, it goes out into others, because they get to see you. And don't, you know, and if you do get into a word battle, you do start fighting with this person, try and catch yourself as fast as you can, because anytime you go into that, it is it's unnecessary, but it's just such a bad use of energy. Like and it is like, it feeds all that dark energy. You just suck in so much dark energy. And then depending on your human, how much of it is just going to stay there attached to you. Like, you just don't, you want to keep yourself, like, you got to be thinking about your mind and the manner. You are always taking care of yourself. Why would you let someone push you into getting mad? Because then you got to go through, like, the things you said, what you did, how you acted. Like, who wants to do that? You know? So don't let other people push you into that. You know, put on the brakes and see, you know, what it is that pushes you. Start noticing it ahead and start setting your boundaries. Make yourself vulnerable to say, hey, you can't talk to me that way, you know. And when they'll keep on, because it'll embarrass them. When somebody gets embarrassed, they'll just get meaner. And, you know, so the first time, don't think like, oh, well, I'm going to set my boundaries and I'm going to get so much respect and they're going to, and don't forget, just like that one day when I was there, and, you know, there's always, everybody's like, oh, yeah, you're so crazy. You're so, oh, you don't even look into things. Oh, get off social media. And just, you know, like the gang goes on me. And the one daughter, she's such an instigator. Swear to God. I don't know that she sees that side of herself, but it may be a part of who she is. It may be part of the role she came to play. But anyways, when I said, well, what are you judging me for? Why do you keep judging me? Just stop judging me. Like, let me be who I want to be. And I'm just saying that, you know, and I didn't know what was going to be. And, you know, she jumped up and ran over and started hugging me and apologizing, you know, that she was being judgmental. So, you know, it depends on each person. Like, Uncle Joe, who likes to make fun of the ladies who get the cookies and the cakes, he, you know, was probably a lot more wounded of an animal. He's probably so far from his wounds and disconnected from his own pain. All he knows how to do is just try and, you know, everybody else. And so, but, you know, I mean, there's some people you could say something to, and they're going to feel it on a deeper level, and they're going to catch themselves and go, ooh, God, I am doing that. Ooh, I don't want to be like that. But if somebody doesn't, just don't take it personally. Just know they are so deep in their wounds. You know, feel sorry for people like that. You know, put out that kind of energy. That's the kind of energy that moves us forward. Us all just sitting there fighting and whining and crying and screaming at each other. And, well, this is my rules. Well, this is mine. Well, this is mine. You know, and every time you go, once you've set that boundary, once you've said, do not talk to me that way, and you go back and he tries to do it again, say, look, am I going to have to leave again? I mean, are you going to be able to control yourself this time? Like, whatever your little jokes you think are so funny, I don't appreciate them. I don't want them said to me. So are you going to be able to control yourself, or do I need to go? Do we need to stop being at the same events? Like, you're going to have to be assertive. You know, don't feel bad if you have to be. That they are pushing you. They're pushing on your boundaries to make you have to stand up for your boundaries more, to make you lock in, become firm in how you feel. Nobody is going to talk to me that way. Nobody is going to treat me that way. You're not going to talk over me. You're not going to pretend like I've got nothing to say. you know, whatever it is, you know, wherever it is you're being pushed by the people who are pushing you, that is where you have, is your soul. It's your destiny. It's your birthright. It's what you're here to challenge yourself. You know who you are. And so you got to put it out there. You got to show others who you are. And when other people are trying to stop you from being you and trying to shut you down, then you need to push back. And again, don't think that when you are pushing back, it has to be done with anger and aggression. You got to learn how to be gentle and firm. Be strong in yourself, you know. And if you go too far, you know, to always be willing to apologize. Like, you know, it's a new sloppy thing to start being able to stand up for yourself. We've all been beaten down for our whole lives. That is a part of the process, to keep us beat down, to keep us easily controlled, easily manageable. And, oh yeah, because the blue house thing. Because if all these people are painting their houses blue so that they can't get lasered. And so yesterday when I was out walking, and I was thinking about like how they have these burn marks around here, and just thinking like, fuck, they burned so much of Washington down. Like, my spot is like the only one that they haven't totally fried. It's like, fuck. I know all last summer I was like prepared. And this one too, I mean, it looks like fall in my yard ever since I got back. All the dead pine needles are everywhere. And when we were walking, because Stella likes to walk up, and she loves the tall grasses and stuff, and she'll go in, and she's like a hippo, I swear to God. She's been a lot of big animals. And then in a cow, she's been a lot of big animals. And so but everything is dead. Everything is just toasted. I was like, ooh, that's not a good sign. Everything is fucking dead. They're ready to fucking torch this motherfucker. And then, so when I'm walking around thinking like that, I'm thinking, okay, so with the laser thing, so it doesn't go through the wood because all the trees are still there. I was something that was dumbfounding people in California in the Paradise Fires. It's like, okay, so we got all these trees that are here, but everything else is gone. But now, you know, they've done it too many times. Now we've caught on. And so the wood, all these tall trees around me. And then I was like, okay, so how many of them are dead? How many would be hit? But then, so I should do just really water the fuck out of my yard, get it just drenched. I might do that. Like right now I have like my irrigation thing going in my garden, and it was full of birds and squirrels. Like they're really liking that water. So I'm sure everything is really dried out. I should just totally saturate my yard. But see, even if you do that, then you think, okay, because you don't know what day. That's why you got to just trust. Trust in timing, and trust where you're supposed to be. And if you're supposed to die, if you're supposed to leave the story at a certain time, you're going to. Like, I could sit here and do everything possible. If I'm supposed to be out of the story, if my script ran out, I'm out. And, but anyways, so the wood, I've got tons of trees around me. But then when the people were doing the blue houses, I was like, well, my house is blue. I was like, so I don't know if it's the right shade of blue. I don't know if it has to be a certain shade of blue. But my house is blue. My roof's not blue. So, I mean, Oprah apparently painted her roof blue, supposedly, unless it's a fake-ass picture. And then, you know, and also how these people all, like, idolize, like, this is another thing, too, that to me, I don't jump onto, is, like, Kid Rock, when the Dylan and the Bud Light shit. And Kid Rock made a big old fucking video, you know, all this bullshit. And, you know, how to get in on it and make it. And then plus it was pretty violent. I think he, like, shot a Bud Light with a gun or something. And then everybody's sharing his video. Oh, you know, he's our new hero. He's a savior. Thank you. And So they all jump on board. Oh, they just love him. Oh, just love him. Kid Rock, he's the best. Oh, just love him, love him. And it's like, why? Because he agrees with you? Because he thinks the same way as you? Because now they're all upset. Now they're all ready to go fucking lynch him because he was seen drinking a Bud Light, talking to somebody in a bar or something. And who knows? I mean, there's people who could go and fucking Photoshop that shit. Anyways, like, I don't see why you keep letting these people control your emotions like that. You know, they just stop thinking just because somebody does one thing that must mean that they're a good guy. You're not going to know who the good guys and bad guys are until we start having like the unveiling. Like, this is like the preparation. To me, this is the slow rollout. This is, because this was even said, when was this said? Fucking swear to God, Juan said this like a goddamn year ago. But it said something about, it was going to, in the first, it was going to be all the people. We would all be talking and sharing information. That was like the slow open. I don't think it's called a cold open. It's the, you know, it's like the soft open. That's what it's called, I think, the soft open. So it is to get us prepared. So we're all getting prepared for what's to come. So there's so many people who don't know shit. Like, there's so many videos, I just go past them. People are just talking about shit I fucking been talking about for years. And they're just now, you know, like, oh, can you believe this? Can you believe this? And so all this talking, all this conversation, see, it's getting more and more people. This is the soft open to disclosure because so much is coming out. Like, when the big stuff starts coming, people are going to understand. You know, they're going to understand why there was a Space Force. They're going to understand the technology and the weapons being used on us. When they are going and they're going to be talking a higher level on the disclosure. And it's like, we're learning the language right now. We're learning what they're going to be talking about. We're getting acclimated to what's to come. So it is like the soft open, all the different people sharing information and talking about, just like me talking about all this stuff. It's just like opening the door. It's getting us ready for what's to come. And so, you know, and you got to remember all of this stuff about the people playing different parts and stuff. It was a weird video yesterday I saw. It's like, I don't understand what is up with people. They're sharing an old video of Cappy, and the video he was talking about, let me think of the reference. There was a time reference where I was like, this is old. I mean, it's before he died, but they're sharing it, saying he's back. It's like, if Cappy, which I hope he's, I hope that was a psyop. I hope it was like an Anne Hesh, like more of like, or Michael Jackson, Elvis, like a lot of these people. There's a pretend death thing. Now there's people saying maybe Britney actually retired and just hired these people, or she sold her name, her idol character, the person that she didn't just create it by herself, but so the character that was created, Britney, she sold it to the corporation, and so then they use other people to play her, and they can't even get, like, they don't even have the same body. They have a real super skinny one, and then they have a real thick one. One has giant boobs. Like, I don't know. Fuck, who knows? But if Cappy were to come back, he's not going to just come and just start talking. He would make a thing. Like, when these people come back, there would be a whole thing. You know, they're not going to just step back in and like, oh, yeah, by the way, did you know about this and this? It's like, that is old. That is old footage. Just like how these people keep sharing Dolores Cannon saying certain things like she just said them. She said this a long-ass time ago. Like, she was dead by the time I knew who she was. That was fucking 6 years ago. So, I don't know when she died, but it was a while ago. And she was talking about the awakening all the way back then. But all these people who just start waking up, they think, oh, see, it's all just now happening. No, this has been happening. It's just mental. They wake up and then they're chosen, they're this, they're that. It's like, dude, this awakening has been going for a long while, you know? And if you are just waking up, don't feel bad, like, you know, God, I just woke up. Oh, God, I'm just so stupid. No, pay attention. You'll start realizing through your life how many things that there were that were waking you up. You've been waking up for a long time. There's just a certain point. It's like where all of a sudden your eyes open and then you're just like awake and it's like, what? But you'll see. You weren't just stupid. There was things that were leading up to it. There were things you were learning and growing the whole time leading into it. So don't feel bad or like, you know, when I say this stuff about these people just waking up, it just is like the people who just, confirmation, these people are just waking up, just be aware if you just get all up in your ego. As the ego is the work that you're trying to do. All this mind management is a whole big thing about the awakening. The mind management, the emotional maturity, you know, control your mind. Don't, because right now we're under someone else's mind control. Well, a lot of people are under someone else's mind control. So that is where you want to take back your mind. You got to dust off all the damage they did, you know, to do some fucking work on it. And then you got to reprogram it. You've got to take control. And so that's the process that I keep talking about. It has to do with healing the wounds, the damage you've caused, the damage that was caused to you, all of the stuff through this toxic reality. But don't think like on those terms, you know, realize it on a spiritual terms, that you came here for what you considered to be this toxic reality, but you came here to learn because you grow and learn from all this shit. And so it is a productive, it's something good for you. Even though it feels like it's bad for you, it's good for you. And so you are expanding. And so when you are trying to, you know, to grow and stuff, you got to heal the things that were causing you problems. And you can't, like so many people, like this is one thing that my daughter will do to me all the time. She will sit there and tell me like, her boundaries are basically, I can't talk about anything that bothers her. So like, that's very vague. So boundaries can be very, so everything that is my opinion, anything about me that I say is very triggering to her, which I've said all along. You got to work on your triggers. It's not like, and I will set a boundary. If I'm not allowed to be me, then I'm not going to be around anybody who doesn't want to be around me. Like, I'm going to be me. If you don't want to be around me, then you won't be around me. That's fine. Now, I mean, when we get in these conversations, we're both just always like, okay, got to go. We just end the conversation. We haven't talked since the other day, too. I don't know why she would get so upset about that. Just because I think if I see someone put a flag out right now, then I think that they have awoken to, I want freedom. And for her to say, well, you can't just necessarily think that's true if somebody's putting it out, because there's a lot of people that don't look at the flag the same way. I was like, what do you mean don't look at the flag? Like, what does it represent to you? She's freedom. And I said, okay, well, then, but it doesn't represent that to everyone. I was like, okay. And at whole groups, it's like, okay, well, I am going to, from my perspective and my reality, if I see people put the flag out, I'm going to assume that they are coming together in the freedom movement. You know, and if somebody doesn't like the flag and doesn't appreciate the flag and doesn't have the same view of the flag, then I doubt they're going to put one out. So, you know, it's just our change in perspective. But that is always where, you know, This is where it goes deeper into soul stuff too, because, you know, I think she wants me just to listen to her and just be like, okay, yeah, you're right and I'm wrong. And so that's where it goes back to past lives. Like, I don't know what our arguments have been in other things, what this push and pull thing is, or if there's just this more advanced game thing that we're playing, which seems like a lot of times. So I'm not going to sit here and freak out and stress out. You know, it's just about figuring out how to maneuver, how to have boundaries for each other. You know, just like if she's coming in on me, I'm like, why do you keep judging me? Stop judging me all the time. And so, you know, that seems to work when I just call her out on what she's doing. She wants to be a good person. She wants to be a loving, caring person and all that. So her desires match, but I'm not trying to tell her she has to become somebody different. But I'm saying, if you're going to talk to me, don't sit here and keep judging me and telling me I'm doing things wrong and stuff. Like, I'm going to do things the way I want to do them. And if you don't think I'm doing them right, then that is your opinion. Like, I'm not doing it to affect you. This one was about how I feed Stella. Like, so many people think it's weird that I feed her human food. And it really becomes offensive to some people. Like, some people can't even believe that I would, like I would go to the store and buy her chicken breast. I don't even eat fucking chicken. And, like, I cook her chicken. I cook her all sorts of stuff. And I've had meat eaters sitting there just like, I've had them sit there and start eating her stuff. Be like, what in the world are you giving this to the dog? It's like a lot of people don't realize that or don't get it and judge me about it. It's like, I can fucking feed my dog whatever the fuck I want to feed my dog. And like I've said, I don't understand this kibble thing. To me, it's like, oh, we're going to feed our dogs cardboard. To me, I grew up where the food, all the food got scraped into a dish and the dog got all the leftover food. Like, it wasn't, I don't even think that it was like a big old thing of leftovers in the fridge. And it's like, well, okay, well, it's leftover night. That was more of like when I got to be a mom or something. Because when did I start? Because when I was married, like, I couldn't make decisions. I couldn't be like, oh, I'm going to feed the dogs food. I'm going to feed them meat. Like, there's so many decisions that I had to make for myself once I became single. Once I became a sovereign individual without somebody else sitting there telling me what I need to do and but, you know, throughout that part of my life, I was more weak-minded. I was more of overshadowed, but I allowed that, you know. It took me a lot of years to come into my own, to step into myself, to stand up for myself. And it took a lot of hard relationships, a lot of, it's been a difficult journey, but that's why I say you can change it all. You can change it all so simply by changing you. You are the key to everything. You don't need anyone else to change. Like, it doesn't matter if if my daughter keeps saying the same thing. Like, I'm not going to tell her you're not allowed to speak about what you want to talk about or have your opinion or whatever. I think as a lot of my stuff I say is very triggering, and but, you know, to me, is coming from somebody else. It's not me triggering you. It's somebody else speaking through me that wants you to think about something. So I'm not trying to just be mean or trigger somebody, but I'm always honest of what I see. And a lot of people don't, there's a lot of games that we play that will turn the other way and we'll pretend like nothing. And to me, that is dysfunctional and toxic. Like, if we want change, we have to be deliberate. We have to go for the change we want. And so I'm not, if I'm, any games I've played would have been out of my not having the awareness I was playing a game. But we've all played games. We've all manipulated. We've all tried to get somebody to do what we want by doing this or doing that, saying this or saying that. But there's just, there's a whole thing to just becoming you and not being interfered with. Like, even if you go and say, you really want to go to these parties every time. It's just such a good time at these parties. But that fucking Uncle Joe, every time, he just doesn't stop. He just keeps on, no matter how many times you tell him your boundaries. To me, if it was me and I would go to the party, I would just stay away from him. Just wouldn't talk to him. And if he even tried to talk to me, I would just say no. I would just make him uncomfortable by just not engaging. But I wouldn't be held back from what I wanted. If I wanted to be at that party, I'd be at that fucking party. And I'd be having a good time. And I wouldn't be fucking being put off by somebody who's going to be whining and crying about shit. I just wouldn't engage with them. You don't have to make it a big old, scene, or try and snub him or make fun of him or get other people on board. Because that is always, you want to stand sovereign in yourself. It's one thing to role model, but it's another thing when you're trying to get everybody, like a team. Like, well, let's all get together and we'll gang up on him. We'll all tell him, oh, we don't like it. And maybe some families, it's that extreme where they have to do an intervention. Everybody's got to sit down and say, hey, look, Uncle Joe, you harass us. All us ladies are sick and tired of hearing about what you think about our bodies. It's just, everybody's got to figure out their own stuff. There's a million different ways to do everything. And so, but it's being active. It's being active in your life towards what is good for you. And another thing too, I did all this fucking crocheting, right? And so I go to start putting on the third one. I did the second one wrong. I did the second one wrong on all those. So I was like, oh, motherfuck. And see, and this is also a part where you got to get yourself into, because, there's a little child inside all of us who just wants to flip a fucking table and scream and stomp. And so, but I always have to reel it in and sit and converse, grasshopper. So, it's time. What is time? And so, you can take every single one apart and just redo it. It's just a day. And so why would you get upset? Why would you get extreme? Why would you have a meltdown about it? And every time you do something over and over, you learn and become better at it. And so, also I had a real flop of something I made. I was really hungry last night. So I had all these blueberries from the farmer's market, like from a farm around here. And then I thought I was going to make blueberry bread, kind of turned into something funky. I still ate some too, but I'm not going to eat the rest today, even though it has all my good blueberries. But I'm going to try and make a different one and make it a little more fluffy. It was like very condensed. It was like, ooh. Probably be good if you put like ice cream on it or whipped cream or something, and you had to eat it hot. Once it became cold, it was solid funk. So I make mistakes all the time, but it doesn't stop me. When you're cooking, you don't just quit. Be like, well, I can't cook. I'm not good at it. Like, I'm making shit up when I'm cooking. Like, I'm just, oh, well, what if I put this together and put this together? I'm not following recipes. So, but I have things that mess up all the time. But if you're out there trying to cook and you mess up and stuff, don't stop. Don't go like, oh, well, I guess I'm not a good cook. No, remember, all your mistakes, you're learning. You're learning more all the time. So yesterday I sat there all day long trying to come up with my own stitches. Like, okay, well, if I did this, if I do it this way, how will that work? So I'm just trying all these different patterns and fuck. I was just going and going, trying to figure out like a way to change it to put on the next stitch. And so then I did a couple and I completed them. And I was like, well, that's cute. They're cute. I like it, but I don't like I liked it with the second part. I liked the design, but then the design gets all distorted when I put on the third one. It pulled. So I was like, I don't like it as much as that way. So I may end up taking some apart and go back in and redo the stitch. I don't know. But anyways, the whole thing was I had done all of those. did all of them. And I could have done the first part wrong too. That's just the kind of shit I do. I'm always just making shit up. So then, but I can't get upset, when I go to do the next part, it won't work. It's like, okay, go back a little, step back. But, just remember, anything you you mess up, you're not doing it right. And yeah, you want to get frustrated. You want everything to go right. And you want everything to go smooth. And of course, you don't want to redo something over and over. When I was first learning to crochet, I can't tell you how many I like so far down a blanket, so far into the work, and I would just take it all apart. And it'd be like, I just didn't like something about it. Like it was like too wide. And if I kept going that wide, it was going to take forever to go all the way down long, or it was going to be too, like, just different things. And so then just take it all out and start all over. So a couple days of work and then just start over. And so it's kind of like what I'm going to be doing here. So I'm going to see how the day goes. What I'm going to do. I may do some of them and keep just trying to come up with some other kind of ideas, but I may just take some of them apart and just try and do it right. I don't know. But just all I'm saying is don't get frustrated with yourself when you make mistakes. And yeah, we all have that little part of us that wants to have a meltdown and whine and cry and feel sorry for ourselves. She's in there. She came out and made her presence known. And then the higher-minded self told her she needs to go sit down. It's not a crisis. It's not the end of the world. It's just, another day's work. It's no big deal. What are you going to do with your time? But that is the beautiful thing, too, is because before, when I was younger and I was having to go to work and then having to mow the yard, and then having to cook dinner, and then having to take care of the kids, and then having, and how do you even have any time for yourself? And then you go and try and do something and it goes wrong. It's like, fuck that. And so that is the beautiful thing, is when we have our time to ourselves, then it's your time. It was like, what do you want to do with your time? Do you want to be good at something, or you just want to rush through it? So it's a big difference when we have our time to ourselves. And that is something that they don't want you to have. They don't want you to have time to yourself to heal. They don't want you to have time to yourself to get better at things, to do things, to learn. They don't want you to have that. And so that is this, enslavement practice that they have with the world, to drive you to just spend all your time working and arguing with people. And so it's, but you have to notice those things. You have to notice the division is created. There's nothing to argue about. That the people who are argumentative are damaged. They've got pain and suffering that has taken them over, and they don't know how to get to it. And the more that you heal, the more you do good for you, the more that energy goes out. So the more mindful, the more you connect with your higher mind, the more you can, shelter the child, tell your inner child to sit the hell down. We're going to let the grown-ups handle this. You just observe here for a minute, start minding the manner, start managing the mind and getting control. And all of that starts going out into the collective. So when we do it for ourselves, that energy goes out and attaches to other people. It moves. It just like, you show something, and it could be a stranger. You could do something in a store and handle it something very diplomatically but stern, and somebody's sitting there watching in a store, and that just, it can be somebody that you deal with in a store. The way you deal with them shows them how they need to deal with somebody else. Like all this stuff is like we're always handing each other information without knowing it. We're helping each other all the time. But, you go and you handle a situation in a store and you're screaming at the cashier, then she's going to take that energy home and she's going to scream and yell at her family because she's so tense. So we change things when we start coming at life as a mature person, is that one that can tell our inner child, the childish side of ourselves, to sit down and observe and not jump up and have a fit. And then you go up and trust your higher-minded self to deal with it in a, more diplomatic, mature way. Then that person has learned from you how to deal with some other problems they have. And so it is, when we go out and we are mindful and we take care of what we're putting out, it changes the world. And we will change the world on these things, not by striking, not by any of that stuff. It is by observing, realizing, taking a stand for ourselves, taking real movements towards what's good for us, and not just being a product of our environment, but taking an active role in your living life. And so start, making those changes, and that will, it will help the whole world. You helping you helps the whole world. You being a better person and going out in the world and being more mature changes the tone. And so the more that we all start doing it, see, that's changing the frequency. It's changing the tone. It's changing the world at large, because we take an active role and in a mature manner. So anyways, all of those things. There was something else that was popping in my head real quick that I was thinking I was going to say. Oh yeah, if so when you're like, there's a lot of people out there, and they start healing and they're going through shit and people are leaving their lives and they're feeling lonely and they just want a relationship and stuff. Don't feel like you have to rush in. Like, I've been on a huge hiatus. This is a big period of time that I've been single. It's the biggest time in my whole life I've been single, besides being a child. Is from 2016 or 2015, around then, till now. And so, and in 2017, I knew who the person was. So don't feel so rushed. Don't feel like you have to rush into things. Feel like you trust the universe. Like, and every time you go to a place, like you go to do something that you love to do, don't go in and start, scanning the room like, are they there? Are they there? Are they there? It's going to happen. It will all happen naturally. You go to your classes, you keep going and going, and it could be somebody invites you to a party. You become good friends with a girl in the class, and they invite you to a party. You go to the party, and then the person is right there. So, you just got to trust that what is yours comes to you. What is yours finds you. You don't have to go out and search for it. You don't have to go out and find it and force it. It will find you. And it's all on an energetic, it's all on a vibration. It's all on the changing the tone, the frequency. And so when you change yours and you are tuning in to a higher frequency, you got to come up to it. You got to meet it. You're going to be uncomfortable until you match it. You got to do the work. You're going to keep feeling uncomfortable, keep on doing the work. Don't feel bad when you keep getting pushed back. Just keep doing the work, raising your frequency. You'll know, because there will be a point in time when certain things just won't affect you. You'll just be like, oh my gosh, I used to get so upset about something like that. Now it's just like nothing. Like, I don't even care. And you'll find, people can say mean things to you. It's just like, you just look at them like, oh man, that poor person. And man, they really struggle with hatred and anger. And, what a horrible way to live, to just want to go around and argue and fight with people. Like, I want to go around and have love and kindness and caring and, talk about real things and experience and feel real things and like create. Like, there's so much good stuff about living. And when we get out of the toxic bullshit, and we start really realizing that it's up to us. We can make the life that we want, and we can have the relationships that we want, but we got to take an active role in who we are. And so anyways, hopefully it makes sense what I'm saying. Like, I can see it so clearly, but I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying. But it's all up to you. You can make the life that you want. I had a hard life, and I had to get a fucking brain injury to finally knock me down, to finally get me on track. And then, I haven't been rushing. I have been, taking my time and healing and getting to know myself. And, uh, and even when things are going slow, there's so much more that you're always learning about yourself. And it's yourself is what you are here to really wine and dine. The more that you really get in there and wine and dine yourself and love yourself and elevate yourself and to appreciate yourself, and I think it's important to recognize your connection and appreciate and have gratitude for your guides and the ones that are there to be a part of your experience. So anyways, hopefully the stuff I said made sense. And who knows what today is going to bring. Like, fuck. Supposedly there's going to be this BRICS Nation meeting this week. And so I would think, they're pushing to get the dollar to collapse because the dollar isn't real. The only people who think it's real is the people here who keep going to work to get some of them. It's like, it's not even real. That's why, man, I don't know how this is all going to go down. But when you just think about, like, when the dollar crashes, who is going to go to work? Who is going to... And then there's people who rely. This is what I'm saying. Working towards independence. You don't rely on anybody. And there's people sick, completely dependent, and I guess we'll see. We'll see how many people need compensation and how many people, like I would say, if shit starts going down and places start closing down, probably in all the towns, we should go up to the hospitals and the nursing homes and try and help people, get them to, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. When they're just going to open jail cells. Like, is anyone going to go feed those people? Like, I just don't think that they can leave it like that for very long. I think it's going to be pretty quick where we're going to have to go on to the digital currency. And they've got so many people freaked out about the digital currency. But the quantum digital currency is gold back. It is all based on gold. They can't oversell it. It is all based on the value of the gold. And it's a global standard. Everybody is going to have the same standard. There's not going to be like, oh, these people's money's worth it. Like the gas. Like you can go here and buy gas this much, go here and buy gas. Like it's going to be all a set thing. So you can take your quantum digital currency that is based on a gold standard, that you can't have your currency unless you have bought, however it's going to go. I think that a lot of people are going to have some given to them because of reparations, because of the abuse and the whole way that they've done the things with there's so much more stuff too coming out about our rights and the whole thing with the money. Like we are the reason they call us cattle is we are their collateral. And so we are their collateral. So therefore they are, man, the pictures, I don't know, like they are, what is that word? It's kind of like on taxes, where the parents are responsible for the kids. The kids are the collateral for the parent. That is what we are, the collateral for the Corporation of America, which is already bankrupt and stuff, but how they had it set up. We were their collateral. But when you go into all of their wording, when you go look at all this information and stuff, is that this is the loophole over debt. They are responsible for our debt. They are responsible to pay all of our stuff. We are their collateral. We're their collateral. So they have to pay all our stuff. So when they send us out a statement, it is supposed to be that they paid this. It's already been paid. It's letting us know. But in their double, their underhanded bullshit, then they tell us we have to pay the bill. So they want us to go to work, and then they want us to pay them for shit that they have to pay. So those are the things, like why you're released from debt, why you know, when you know the rights, you know what they've been doing, then you can stand up and say, hey, you can't do that. And then you have to give you the deed of the house. They can't take it away. Y'all have to pay for this. You didn't give me the money. Don't you have to give me the money if I'm supposed to pay for it? And so, and they're like, yeah, but you have to know that. You have to know their games. And then we've already had this judge come out and say, you know, we're released from the debt. It's all been illegal. These fucking people are loan sharks. They were doing illegal things to take our money. So anyways, I just keep talking and talking. Okay, I'm gonna go. So I don't know what, you know, hopefully there's gonna be some shit that's gonna fucking, God, it's just how it drags out. But then when shit goes down, it's so fucking horrible. Then it's like, oh my God. So I don't know. I'll just be glad when we get to the other side of this, really. That's what I'll be glad of. This is hard. So anyways, just keep on going, and you know, keep working on you. Just keep trying to change your attitude. Keep trying to see things differently. You know, just remember, you're reprogramming yourself. You've been programmed your entire life. You were raised by people who were programmed. And so there's a huge thing to your programming. Everything that you think and see and feel is probably programmed into you. So it's up to you to want to live better, to want to live different, to be willing to reprogram yourself, to be willing to look at yourself in a hard manner so that you can really figure yourself out. You know, how do you feel about things? Not like, how does the group feel? Like, all these people just always want to just jump back into a group, and like, and then they want to jump into fucking Kid Rock group, and then Kid Rock disappoints them, and then they're all upset, and they all just like, oh, I can't even believe it. Well, I can. Like, well, yeah. Why? I mean, fucking, we're not even at the goddamn party anyways, or the bar or whatever. Who the fuck? I mean, maybe somebody came and brought him a Bud Light, and he's like, yeah, funny, huh, I don't care. You know, like, you don't know. We're not there at the scenario. And then plus, don't give strangers all your, just for a simple little thing, going out and shooting in a can, and suddenly you're just like dedicated to the guy, and then so easily he can disappoint you. Well, that's happening, so you can start seeing for yourself, so you can pull back from that kind of behavior, so you can pull into yourself, so you can see, like, I can't sit there and give all my emotions to this person so that they can just, you know, I don't even know this person. So how in the world can I expect that this person is going to please me? People around me can't even please me. So anyways, just work on pleasing you, and I'll talk to you later.